still under investigation. Reporting from Mount Hope, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
We are a little over a month away from opening day, and now one county leader is asking the state to allow the Padres to welcome back fans on day one. Supervisor Jim Desmond sent a letter to the governor requesting clearance to host fans at Petco Park. Desmond pointed to examples of events held with spectators in college football and the NFL, including the Super Bowl. Desmond is suggesting letting in fans at 25% capacity, socially distancing and requiring masks. Earlier this week, a Padres executive said they are already preparing safety plans and precautions and would be ready to safely host limited crowds by opening day. Meanwhile, a turning point on the horizon in the county's vaccine rollout. Teachers, police officers, and grocery store workers all among the group of people who will be eligible to be vaccinated starting Saturday. The county moving down the tier list as more people in the original tier get vaccinated. Opening things up further will make hundreds of thousands more San Diegans eligible this weekend, but it could take a little while to meet that demand.
There will not be 500,000 appointments available on Saturday, or Sunday, or Monday, or for many weeks coming forward. And so we need folks to be patient.
County officials say they're specifically setting aside vaccine doses for people who teach grades K through 12 as San Diego Unified eyes a mid-April reopening date. They say CAL FIRE will be helping them vaccinate eligible San Diegans in rural areas, including those who work in agriculture. Now, you can find more info on the vaccine rollout and who will be eligible in this latest expansion on 10news.com. Jim?
Now, Virginia, an update on the nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill. It's up for debate in Congress, and there is hope it could pass the House by tomorrow. However, it's a different story in the Senate. As of late last night, not one Republican had publicly said that they would back the legislation as it stands. A decision from the Senate is expected today that could determine whether a hike in the federal minimum wage will make that deal. Republicans argue the bill is too costly and doesn't do enough to get people back to work and school. This morning, the acting chief of the Capitol Police testifying in ongoing congressional hearings over the January 6 riots. Before recently becoming acting chief, she was in charge of assessing threats to the Capitol. Now she's facing questions from lawmakers. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has more.
The United States Capitol Police had over 1,200 officers working on the grounds at the time of the attack. Acting Chief of Police Yogananda Pittman testifying that although the floor of the House and the Senate were breached, Capitol Police succeeded in its larger mission.
The United States Capitol Police protected the congressional leadership, members, and the democratic process.
Pittman's testimony complex and honest, admitting to lawmakers warning signs were there. An interagency intelligence assessment issued January 3rd predicted Congress and the certification of the Electoral College vote could be the target that day. Pittman describing that early report.
Demonstrators saw this as a last opportunity to overturn the results of the presidential election, and they were desperate.
She says Capitol Police did change their plans based on this intel and requested National Guard support ahead of time, a request that was denied. Like other top officials in charge that day, Pittman arguing, too, that none of the intelligence really imagined the magnitude of what actually unfolded. The challenge for lawmakers now, how to move on. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer arguing Capitol Hill cannot remain a militarized zone indefinitely.
The Capitol has been and must be once again a symbol of democracy that's accessible to the people.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has proposed the idea of a 9/11-style commission to probe even further into what exactly went wrong that day. But yesterday, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell blasted her, saying he thought any potential commission needed to have exactly equal representation, a 50-50 split between Democrats and Republicans. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up, the makers of 2 major drug vaccines taking a look at adding further shots to the dosing schedule to take on the variants. And weeks after destructive storms, many Americans still struggling to get access to basic necessities. Let's get a check on.
Well, I'm going to do weather real quick. I'm going to let you know that we are going to see warm weather sticking around straight through the weekend and the chance for rain next week. Now let's get a look at your traffic with CHP officer Jim Pettencourt. How's it looking out there, Jim?
It's looking great out there around the county. No major issues to report at this hour, especially for those of you that are going to be up in the North County right now on the 78, and they're in both directions, right through around Nordahl Road all the way to the coast. No problems on the 78 and the 94 right at the 805. Very light traffic there as well. I'm Officer Jim Betancourt with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Moderna says it has made enough of a new COVID variant vaccine to start testing it on people. It's aimed at protecting against the mutation that originated in South Africa. Studies have shown current vaccines give little protection against it. Moderna says the clinical trial will not only test the new vaccine, but also if a booster of the original vaccine can protect against the variant. Well, that means the company is looking for volunteers who have already been vaccinated and those who have not. Well, meanwhile, something Pfizer is now looking into, whether a third shot of its vaccine would provide added protection against the variants. Currently, you get one initial dose and then a second dose 3 weeks later is supposed to provide added and extended immunity. Well, Pfizer's CEO says, though, that they are now testing whether a third dose would raise immunity even further, particularly against COVID mutations. And that trial is underway now.
That is all coming as a new COVID variant emerges right here in California, raising questions and concerns about how contagious and severe it is. Researchers in the Bay Area say the so-called California variant may spread much faster. While more studies still need to be done, doctors have been studying it since it was first detected at the end of last year. County health officials have mentioned the new variant, but say they don't know yet if this one is more contagious than the others.
Personally, I think it's a worrisome development. This new form of the virus seems to spread more aggressively than the older form. So we have to be even more careful with the masking. We have to be even more careful with the social distancing.
Doctors say another key to fighting these mutations is to get vaccinated when you can. Well, nearly 2 weeks after a major storm, many people in Texas and around the South still don't have safe drinking water. The president now declaring a major disaster in several states. ABC's Rena Roy has details on the issues people are facing.
It's still dirty. One of the most basic human needs has become one of the biggest issues in Texas. In Houston, this woman says she's been boiling water since last Monday, and this muddy mess has been coming out of her faucet.
I just need the city to come out here and really do what we should do for us. Seniors, and not even only seniors, everybody that pays tax.
Officials say the change is caused by algae that is seasonal, and the drinking water continues to meet or exceed all federal and state standards. Meantime, more than 1 million in the region don't have water at all.
You have to go over there to fill up water, otherwise you can't even flush the toilet.
Power also still out for thousands. Texas Governor Greg Abbott addressing the state Wednesday night, promising a full investigation into ERCOT, the agency that manages 90% of the state's power grid.
ERCOT must be overhauled. Many of you are angry, and you have a right to be.
6 members of the ERCOT board have resigned in the wake of the crisis. And Mississippi's governor now dispatching the National Guard to the capital of Jackson, where the deep freeze crippled water pipes for 160,000 people. Officials hoping to restore service by Friday. And President Biden has issued a major disaster declaration for Texas and also hard-hit Oklahoma. That increases federal funding for recovery for things like home repair, temporary housing, and low-cost loans for uninsured property losses. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The product of a lot of rainfall earlier this month, a beautiful scene in a small Northern California town.
And later, how local street vendors went outside the box to come up with an innovative idea to keep their businesses alive during the pandemic.
Welcome back. Mustard flowers super bloom in Northern California is quickly becoming a tourist attraction. All of the recent rain in the northern part of the state has led to this beautiful super bloom in this field in Half Moon Bay near San Francisco. Apart from being a great Instagram photo backdrop, the field is helping families who've been cooped up during the pandemic get outdoors and enjoy nature.
Oh, they loved it. You know, with the pandemic, we don't really get out much. So like this is them, running around and being able to get out and get some fresh air.
Yeah, no word yet, though, on if we will be seeing any more super blooms around the state thanks to that recent rain.
This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
Just gorgeous. Reminds me, Megan, I grew up in Northern California, and those kind of super blooms, not just there, but around the state in that area, happen just about every year with the rains. It's gorgeous.
Nice. Yes. I remember, I think it was last year, we had all those super blooms. They had one in Borrego Springs and then up to the north. And I can't remember exactly where it was, but everybody went and saw it and it was absolutely beautiful. So we need some more rain and then we can see some super blooms here. And luckily there is some rain in the forecast next week. But right now, beautiful sunshine, just another day in paradise as we look towards La Jolla from Mount Soledad. It is 63 degrees there, 70s in Imperial Beach, Chula Vista, and in Oceanside, still mostly in the upper 60s for our inland neighborhoods. So temperatures are just a touch cooler right now, but by this afternoon we'll be a little bit warmer than we were yesterday. So we do have some Santa Ana flow with us. You can see the foothill and the mountain areas, especially in Potrero, Tierra del Sol, Otay Mountain, seeing those gustier winds. But we're going to see those offshore winds, generally kind of the story into the weekend. They'll return again Saturday night into Sunday and linger into Monday. A little bit of a sea breeze likely going to return tomorrow, so we could see some fog again tomorrow morning. Sunshine over Chula Vista this morning, and temperatures over the next few hours will mostly be in the 70s for the coast and inland neighborhoods. So offshore winds due to this system to the east of us, and then that one to the north of us, that's going to dive south, and that's going to bring us another round of mild Santa Ana winds over the weekend.